Good day everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be doing an overview of this ITX case coming from Lian Li, known as the Q58. Do note that this video is not sponsored nor paid, but I'd like to thank a good friend of mine, Samson. Thank you very much for borrowing this case for me to share my experience on what I feel about this case to my viewers and subscribers. Let's get into it. First off, with the front panel itself, as you can see, it's a very beautiful front finish, whereby you have the bottom part brushed aluminium and the top whereby you have this sandblast kind of effect. Now this two-tone front panel only exists in the black version, which I'm having it right now. If you're having the white version, right, it does not have two-tone, it will be plain white. Looking at the sides, you have two sections, top and bottom, whereby there are two panels. The top is the tempered glass, the bottom is the whole panels. Same goes to the other side. Then at the back itself, you have your I/O cutouts, you have your PCI-E slots. This is only meant for your graphic card, as this case is catering the graphic card to mount vertically, which I'm going to show you in the interior inside. Now, there is this door over here where you can just pull it down, and what's inside it? Now, Lian Li have done a very good job and well thought that they have placed a controller over here that allows you to control 3 fans and 3 aRGB. In order to make use of this controller itself, right, you will need to plug these cables that's on the controller itself to your motherboard. One is for the fan header and the other one for the aRGB header. So by doing so, right, it will minimize all the cable clutter where you have to do the cable management on the motherboard itself or inside the case itself. So having one point, right, with just one cable connected to the motherboard, you can connect rest of the components like your fans or your aRGB devices on this controller. At the top over here is in fact the top panel, whereby you have holes allowing you to exhaust hot air or to intake cool air with your fans. I'm going to do the measurements. Now, the depth of this case itself from here to here, in fact, it's 340 mm in depth, and the height itself from the bottom to the top, or should I say start with the feet, to the top is 270 mm, and for the width it's 170 mm. In order to remove the side panels, in fact they can remove, as you can see, the bottom part, not a problem. You can just swivel and slide it out to remove them. It's quite easy. Now as for the top, please do not pull it out and slide. You will need to remove off this top panel first before you do that, because this is actually caught on the pad. The top panel itself, right, is restricting the panel from removing it, or should I say sliding to the sides like this. See? So you will need to remove the top panel. In order to remove the top panel, all you need is to remove this center piece at the back, or should I say the thumb screw, then lift it up to take off the top cover itself. Now, taking off the top cover, I have actually witnessed some of my friends who have this case, right, they break the pin cache to the case itself. So in order not to do that, right, I would advise you guys to do this. When you lift up the back, place your finger in the case itself, in the top itself, underneath the top, and press it down so that this will pop up. Same goes to the other end. Place underneath the top panel and pop. So if you were to remove the top panel, when it pops off, right, when this pole pops off from the case itself, right, this is not. So if you were to wedge it all the way, right, you might just bend this pole here or even break it. So take note on this when you're removing the top case. Once you have actually done that, right, remove the thumb screw. Then you will be able to remove off the top panel. And one thing good about Lian Li is that they have this lever here. I'm going to show you in a short while. So we can actually just slide and take it out. Now I was talking about this lever here allows you to actually lift it up off from the case and to pull it out. Same goes over here. Lift it up and slide to the back, take it out. These panels are pretty unique. You can actually interchange the position itself. I will show you some of the configuration that you'll be able to do. First off, with the one side glass panel, the other side with the ventilator hose panel. As you can see over here, this is one side glass panel and the other side with all the hose panel. Or you can actually do it in the sense that the original position whereby the top is glass, the bottom is with the hole panel, you can swap it, as in the top with the hose and the bottom with the glass panel. As illustrated here, as you can see, the top is with the hole panel and the bottom is the tempered glass. Same goes to the other side. So it's pretty flexible. Now coming to the front itself, right, in order to take out the front bezel itself, do the same or apply the same with the top cover. Remove from the top. You can hear the tap, remove. Once you have done that, right, do not wedge it down all the way. Lift from the bottom so that you will not dent all this pole over here that is catching on the case itself. This is the interior of the case itself. Now on each side, as you can see here, they are catered for different components. I'll start off with this side. Now at the top section over here, right, or should I say towards the right hand side, this is for you to place your motherboard, and these are the standoffs. And on your left, this is a PSU strap whereby you house your SFX or SFXL power supply. Now you are able to cater for ATX power supply, but you will need to change the top mounting, which I'm going to show you later. Now on the other side itself, this is supposed to place your GPU, or should I say graphic card, vertically. There are no height restriction, but for the length itself, make sure that you do not go beyond 320. If you go beyond that, right, you will not be able to fit your graphic card into the case. Do take note that this riser card here is in fact a Gen 4 PCI-E 4.0 extension cable. This case does have a lower version, which is the version 3.0 PCI-E Riser extension. That will be cheaper. These are the cable connectors provided in this case itself, whereby it provides connection to the front. I'll start off with the USB 3.2, or should I say 3.0 USB for this socket over here, the USB Type A. Then followed by the Type C, which is this cable over here. And followed by the combo headphone jet, which is this. And of course the power switch, which is this. Now all this are to be plugged onto your motherboard itself: the front header, the USB 2 connector, the Type C, and the audio connection. Besides this, there is this two connection over here which I've illustrated earlier on. One is for the fan and the other one for the aRGB. Now additional to this, there is this SATA connector, the data and the power itself, whereby in front, right, you have this slot over here to slot your SATA drive, the 2.5-inch SATA drive. So I have a trick for you on this. Now I've actually taped this with duct tape, so you can just pull it out from this slot over here. So let me just do an illustration. So if you were to plug this in, right, and if you were to pull this way, right, it's not going to come out that easily. So you have to remove either the front and the top panel. But with this, if you tape this duct tape, right, I'm just using duct tape to tape on the SATA drive itself, right, you don't have to remove the front cover. All you need is just to remove the top cover, hold on the sides itself, and just pull. See, it's out. I mentioned earlier that you're able to fit a ATX power supply on this, but you will need to remove two things. One, the PSU strap, and the top bracket. I'll remove off the PSU strap. There are one screw over here which I've taken off, then followed by 4 other screws over here. In fact, I've actually removed all the screws except for one. So when you take this out, right, you'll be able to take out the PSU strap. So once you have taken out this strap, see, it's removable. You can take out the whole strap. Once you have actually done that, right, you will need to take out the top bracket here. Now, there are 4 screws over here, 1, 2, 3 and 4. I've taken 3. So let me take out the the 4th one. So once this is off, right, you'll be able to remove this bracket. And coming with the case itself, it does have this bracket. This is for you to mount your full power supply over here. When you mount this in, this is how you're going to slot the bracket in. And once it's in, right, you will be able to house your full PSU power supply. Now, due to the space constraint itself, if you were to mount a ATX itself, you will not be able to mount a full 240mm AIO or a 380mm AIO at the top. You are only able to mount a 120mm AIO for your CPU. So take note on this. But as an advice, I would not encourage you to put a full ATX power supply because it takes up a lot of space, and the cable management itself, right, it will be messy. Before showing you the radiator mount, or should I say the liquid cooler mount in this case itself, it does come with this box here. This is actually the accessory box. It comes with the ATX bracket, which I've shown you earlier, a thank you card or welcome card, the manual itself where it holds all the instructions on how you do the mountings in this case itself, a bag of screws, all the fan screws, all the rubber grommets, and all the necessary motherboard screws are in this bag. 2 fan filters. This is meant for you to place underneath your case, whereby it will filter off the dust from the air sucking from the bottom. Normal zip ties. 2 additional clips. Well, this clips is actually meant for you to replace if this is actually meant for this, so it clips on in the case itself. So if this clip were to break in the case itself, you can do replacement. There are 2. Then you have 4 Velcro zip tie, and this bracket here, in fact, if you want to mount additional SSD on top of the bracket, the original bracket, you can place it here. And in order to prevent scratches, right, you are provided with rubber grommets, 6 of them. In this case, you are able to mount 3 different types of AIO liquid cooler. The 120mm, let's say you are placing a full ATX power supply. Then for SFX power supply and the SFXL power supply, you'll be able to mount the 240 and the 280 AIO. Now, before you buy any AIO, right, make sure you know the clearance of this. For 120 and 240, not an issue, but when it comes to 280, you will need to know the length of the radiator itself, because this case, max width, if you take out this SATA housing here, right, the total clearance is 325mm. With this, right, attached to the case itself, the clearance is 315mm. So take note on this, and not forgetting of all the AIOs, as in like the 240 and the 280, make sure you have enough clearance to fit into the case height, which is touching this frame here, from here to the top. Now, from here to here, the max height, in fact, is 59mm. So imagine that you have purchased a liquid freezer too, which have a 37mm thick radiator plus the fan, which is 25mm. When you plus them together, right, it's 62, which go beyond this. If you go beyond this, right, you will not be able to attach your bracket nicely into it. In fact, it's not able to fit in. So make sure that your radiator thickness is the standard thickness 27 mm followed by the 25 mm fan itself. So total will give you a 52 millimeter in height, so you can mount your bracket. Or if you are still using the Arctic liquid freezer, you can choose to swap the fans itself. Instead of using 25 mm, right, make use of a 15 mm slim fan. So total up will be 52, will be okay. Now I'm going to illustrate on how I mount the 280 instead of the 240. 240 is very easy. I've seen a lot of reviewers doing this, whereby they mount the radiator first inside the case, then followed by the fan, then followed by the bracket, then they do the screws. I know it's easier that way, but there is a much easier way. Mount everything in, as you can see here. Now do not mount tightly, I mean the bracket itself, do not mount tightly to the fans and to the radiator itself, so that you can actually adjust. I will just align it. If you can see here, it flushes here, it flushes here. Next, I will pull this door open so that you have more clearance. Let me just switch the angle. Now with this everything in, right, I will place the cooler in first. Place it nicely. Then over here, I'll start off from the back, because this is where the holes are. So guide the hose with the bracket, slot it in. Okay, in fact it's in. It's just that I need to adjust this. See? It's pretty simple. Oh, make sure that your fan cable goes in first. Then place from the back. Adjust over here. See? My radiator is in. I don't even have to actually do, as in like place the radiator, the fan, then followed by the mounting and do the screws. It'll be harder to actually do the screws, in fact. So as you can see here, it flushes. So I was actually talking about the clearance over here. So this is just nice. This is actually a 27 mm thick radiator, followed by the 25 mm fans, the thickness. So total up 52, which is just nice. Alright, I hope you guys have actually enjoyed this overview of this case itself, and some tips and tricks that I've actually learned through this case. It's very challenging, and on the next video I will be doing a build on this with the actual 280 AIO, which I've done previously, which is the Be Quiet Silent Loop 2. If you guys are interested to know about that AIO, right, you can click on my top right hand corner. I will leave the URL over there. For those of you who are actually new in my channel, welcome to my channel, and if you like my content, do remember to subscribe and to click on the notification bell button. Till then, take care, goodbye, see ya.